Let's get back onto space thinking. So what is our next contract? Escape the atmosphere. Okay, that's going to be really easy to do. Really easy to do. Oh, take the wheel off the front. Oh, make a tail dragger. Yeah, maybe we should just make a tail dragger. That's an interesting idea. But we're going to do another unmanned probe. A sounding rocket here. Its job is to go up and then come down. Probably pretty hard. Although we do have parachutes now. We could go to the edge of space and recover this. And maybe that's not a bad idea. So we are going to try to escape the atmosphere. Alright, I like it. Let's get the quad core over here. Science component. Oops, it's too big. Okay. Make things not be so derpy. There we go. Telescope. Pressure mat. And the Science Junior. So we want to bring this thing back home. So we don't need the seismic accelerometer because we're not going to be touching the ground, so that's going to be fine. So we've got all of our experiments now. So we can just throw a heat shield underneath this and say, we want to bring this home. We don't need an antenna to transmit science. This should be fine. So we're just going to want a decoupler. And then we just need to make sure this reaches space. We're not looking to stay in orbit. We'd like to not come straight down, though, because if you do, there's a good chance you'll come down too fast. So we'll need a little bit more oomph than last time. But there's a good chance, since this is a pretty light payload, that just something like this... Ooh, we do not have the swivel engine. Is that a problem? No, I think it's okay. Look at this. This is 4,000 delta V. It was like vaguely orbital amounts. But as long as we throw on, like say the winglets, like this, so we'll be able to steer ourselves in atmospheric, like when the atmosphere is a little thicker, and that's going to be sufficient. Again, ultimately, we're looking for a ballistic angle still, but just a little bit more tilted than before. I think this will do it. Yeah, I think this is all we need. So, what is that? I do want to save it. The whole point is I want to check the name, though. I guess it's just sounding rocket. I mean, it's not really a sounding rocket anymore, but shush, it's fine. Mark II. Just call it probe rocket or something. This is the this is the Caveman A to Z, codename Caveman A to Z rocket here. The idea with this one is it's going to leave the atmosphere. We are, for the first time, going to touch space, and to further complicate things, hopefully bring something home. So one stage there, then we can decouple, and then we can parachute down. If in doubt, add more boom. You got that right. What about wings on the head? I don't think we should need that. At some point we'll have to call one the Flying Waffle. So SAS is turned on, full tilt. Oh, apparently we can get some of that here. We're gonna, okay, hold on. We're gonna do the material study here and then just recover this vessel. And what I'm gonna change also going forward is I'm gonna make a threshold for the science of like, make sure it's got at least 2 science worth of stuff before you bug me. So we'll just recover it and relaunch it. Quill's philosophy of there's no such thing as too much overkill has the advantage of working. It's true! And it really is the Kerbal way. So, sounding rocket Mark II. Yeah, it is weird, like, one's the autosave, but I guess they're both identical here. Alright, launch that again. Tone down the engine strength. That's a good point. Luckily, because this is not an SRB, I can do it here. Because, yeah, that thrust weight's a little too high, so we're going to bring that down to somewhere around there. That's still pretty aggressive, but it's going to be fine for this. And go! There you go. Nice smooth takeoff. We're gonna reset that. It'll maybe try to run over and over again here. Okay, no, we're good. Because we'd like to... The higher up you are, the more science you get from those experiments. So we'd rather save the material study for when we're higher up here. Alright, so at about 100 meters per second, that's typically when you start tipping. Because if you do it too early, then you just sort of tend to flop over. So we're going to just try to shift things over here. Delicately. If you stray, the yellow circle on here, that's your prograde. That's the direction your ship is actually traveling in. And obviously the little dot in the middle, as we tilt the nav ball, which is all I'm looking for at the steering, by the way. If I haven't been clear, I'm mostly just navigating with this. The yellow dot is where you're pointing. If you point too far outside of the yellow circle, the wind will start hitting the side of your ship, and that's tipping a little too much. Well, we want to go a little higher up. And then you can tend to flip over. So you... And especially for like really long rockets, that can be a big problem, especially if they don't have tons of gimbling or anything like that. So you really want to try to stay within the yellow circle as much as possible. There you go. So my goal, often, sort of rule of thumb, is at about 15,000 meters, 15 kilometers. I would try to be at about 45 degrees. Stability is a little harder here without the gimbling. It's a lot rougher to steer. The other thing I look at if you're running MechJeb or something like this is the time to apoapsis. You want that to go up smoothly and slowly at a certain point. I will take that. Study in the thin atmosphere. Whoa, okay. And what's happening here is our control fin, because the air is a lot thinner now, our fins are not giving us as much control as before. More and more of our control authority is going to come from the reaction wheel up there, but this is so heavy that we're not going to get that much of it. I want to pitch up a little bit more than I'm doing here. Yeah, it's really sloppy to steer now. Really sloppy to steer. But we're there. I'm just going to try to stay within the targeting reticule here while we burn off the rest of our fuel. But we might even hit like very high space. Boom. Okay. We're out of juice. I'm going to go ahead and dump the back end. I'll even turn off SAS to save fuel. But we are going to hit about 200 kilometers above the surface. 70 is where space is. So if we got to 70, is this thing actually catching up? I didn't expect that bit to be more aerodynamic than our front bit, but doing the tumbling probably caused a lot of extra air resistance when we were tumbling around there. Wow. Well, space looks very pretty. We've got sort of Milky Way over here. We got the moon. Excellent. I have the distant object enhancement, so if you're looking at something that's bright, like the planet's surface, it does dim the background and things in sort of a realistic manner, because your eyes wouldn't be able to see everything. So, I think all of our experiments have run and are full now. Even though there's a chance they would be able to run again if we got high enough, but we're going to go ahead and just close everything up. So, these things have a lot of science. We do not have an antenna to transmit it back. We have to land. Hopefully we're going to have plenty of electric charge, that's fine. I'll turn off the SAS. I could actually put the probe dormant here, but I won't worry about that. I'm just going to go ahead and time warp. So we'll hit our peak again at about 200 kilometers, and then start to come down. So now we're coming down. And as soon as we hit 70, the time warp will stop because we're in the atmosphere. We can still physics warp. So at this point, our rocket shape should be stable enough that just naturally the rear end here should end up facing retrograde into the wind. It'll wobble a little before it gets there. But I'm not doing anything right now. Literally not doing anything. But it should settle to point at this yellow circle here, which means our ass end is facing into the wind. I'm going to turn on the SAS temporarily, just to help us settle a little faster. And then I'm going to turn it off. Actually, I'm going to turn the SAS on and encourage us to just force retrograde surface. There we go. So now it's... Oh, that was the other thing. I was in orbital mode, so it wasn't quite the same as surface retrograde. But there we go. Facing the butt into the wind. Heat wasn't too much of a problem because we weren't going that fast because we were clearly suborbital speeds. Heat effects have gone away. We're just waiting for the parachute here to report safe conditions to deploy. There we go, safe conditions, so we can deploy at any time. Oh my god, that's my debris of the rocket. We're like really following the same path as that thing, which is insane. So, by the way, it did turn safe faster than you'd expect. In vanilla, 250 meters per second is usually the safe spot, but with the real shoots, things are a little bit up in the air depending on what materials and whatnot that you use. So, I'm going to go ahead and I'll deploy the chute so that I don't screw anything up. And I'm just going to fast forward, ×4, which can be a little risky sometimes. I know it's very dark. I could turn up the ambient lighting a little higher. I put it on at least, but... So the chute will partially deploy here, still going down quite fast. And I think this one, the real chutes are configured to 700 meters above ground level. It will fully deploy. Oh, we're going through a cloud layer too. Oh, that explains some of the darkness. The default chutes are at 1,000, but this one should be at 700. There's the full deployment. And, oh, it's going to slow us right down to 5.2 meters per second. There's a very light little probe. Not above sea level. As far as I know, the chute deployment is above ground level. At least in vanilla it is. The stock chutes are 1,000 meters above ground level. But your mileage may vary. Don't quote me on that. All right, you have landed safely. We're going to send out a boat to recover the vessel. And we should get a whole bunch of science from there. Plus complete a big quest. 500, I think. Oh, they changed it in patch. Used to be 1,000. Oh, now it's 500. Oh. All right, now we have tons of science from this, which is great. We can keep unlocking some stuff. For example, better rockets, which this one's pretty important because now we can get the swivel liquid fuel engine, which means the engine itself can change its thrust direction, which means you get a lot of steering out of your engine, which means so much more stability. It also unlocks... oh, the Pomeranian. Yeah, very tiny, but very fuel-efficient engine in space, in a vacuum. Not very fuel-efficient on the ground, but otherwise it's pretty good. So we'll go ahead and unlock that. We can actually unlock a ton of stuff. Life support containers. That sounds like it might be relevant soon. Not yet, but soon. More science options is not a bad idea. These are pretty expensive at 90. We could only unlock one. Or we can unlock the first level of mech jeb, some thrusters... More aviation. I think we can live without that, although it's a bigger jet engine and whatnot. General construction. Advanced rocketry. There's the Terrier engine. I'm kind of inclined to unlock the Terrier. Oh, I guess it's only 1 point to unlock this. Right, it's optional because you might not be doing life support. So we'll unlock that. That's fine. Actually, will be quite handy to get the mech jet buttons to push. So we'll go and research that. Okay. So I think we're going to go for the manned altitude record now. Is there anything else we want to do? We could boot camp someone. Completing this would give us 40 grand. What is this? Recruit scientists, then place them in a vessel completing this mission. They want me to put a scientist in a vehicle and collect science at the R&D department as an EVA. I could do that in my little vehicle. Let's accept that because we should be able to complete that right away. Oh, right, the training drill. That's another thing. Yes, we got to put people in there. Okay, that's fine. We can do this. So, okay, yeah, I trashed the auto-saved version of our little cart. That's annoying. I need to rebuild our cart. Boom. So, start new. Plop you down. Plop you down. Although we have solar panels now, right? Yeah. Just the flat ones. The extended ones, they tend to get ripped off if there's any sort of, like, speed and airflow and things like that. So a couple of solar panels would be good. We're still going to want, like, a nice big rechargeable battery on there so that we can send out a fair amount of tech in one boost. Right, it's not rovers, it's ground over here. I may as well put some science back on here. Sticks out a lot, which is weird and surprising. Since it looks silly, I'll just go and move it like that. So this has all the experiments. I don't remember what this this rover was called. Oh, right. I remember now. Can I paste? Ah, nice. Save. So it looks like to complete that mission, I throw, I'm gonna need a scientist to be able to go work a drill or something. Should build it in plane assembly. Should it? Why? Boot camp. You have a scientist. KSC is R&D, EVA. So that drill is not... that must be for the engineering one or something. So right now, all I have to do is get to the R&D department and do an EVA report. Can do. Vroom. Vroom. Went fast. We have to be a little bit careful because, like, ground vehicles tend... I was saying that airplanes tend to be the #1 cause of Kerbal death. I think the reason airplanes tend to cause so many Kerbal deaths is because both on takeoff and landing, you are effectively a ground vehicle. Ground vehicles are actually the #1 cause of Kerbal deaths because they tend to glitch out and go really crazy. Whoop! I should nerf the wheel turning speed. Actually, what I'm going to do is disable the steering on both back wheels. That... oh, because of the symmetry, it disables everything. Okay, never mind. So, if I EVA here, boom, done. Boot camp mission complete. That'll unlock the ability to get some other tech. Some other level up for our Kerbals later on. Da, da, da. Oh, remember to bump the flag! I didn't remember to bump the flag! You guys want me to go back and bop the flag? Let's just do it. Let's finish it. Yeah, how do you tell if you autosaved one? They're literally exactly the same. I mean, I guess it doesn't matter that much. Cancel you. Bob, let's go. Symmetry problems, what you should do in here. You can change symmetry modes. There's no difference between the air hanger. You can change it from radial symmetry to mirror symmetry. So that's what I should do. Is I could just edit it. Whee! That's fun. Yeah, let me hit the brakes on this a second. We'll go and edit it. I'll show you what I mean. But yeah, I should be using mirror symmetry for this, because that'll fix our wheel problem. So the difference is the spaceplane hangar does mirror symmetry by default, and the vehicle assembly building does radial symmetry by default. So if I rip off this wheel and then take this one, so you know that's number of symmetry. If I hit R, now I'm in mirror symmetry, and so now the wheels will appear on opposite sides instead of across from one another. And it also means that I can change one pair of wheels like this one. So like turn off steering in the back. And that's going to help. Save the changes. Bob's in there. Great. Did I just change the... Did I turn off the steering on the front wheels? I think I might have just turned off steering on the front wheels instead of the back wheels. It is. Now that might be okay. I guess it's actually fine. I think it is helpful to just have one pair of wheels do the steering, though, so that's all right. Like, they're overshooting some of the steering, too, though, which is a little odd. But it's all right. Okay, let's go bop the flag. They see me rolling. They hating. Okay, let's catch some air over here. Full speed. Woo! Oh, shit. Apparently... Whoa, hit the brakes before we die. Apparently some of that counted as flying. EVA while flying over Kerbin's shores. Awesome. Alright, flag's over there, right? Yeah. Oh god. I lose control. It felt like the vehicle was a lot more sturdy last time. Like the first time. I might have positioned the wheels slightly differently, or it might be the weight on the back. Can I collect the science? Okay. Bop the flag. Oh, look at that! Seismic scan. That's it, though. Just the seismic scan. Can I... How do I... Leave seat. Come on, let's go. Thumpa, thumpa, thumpa. You can do it. Am I stuck now? Oh, I can clip through the batteries. Good. Or the wheels. I claim this flagpole in the name of science! I guess that's that. I used the other experiments on flying. Did I, though? No, not the temperature. I can take the data out of the seismograph. I can collect the data out of this and then restore that experiment because I'm a scientist. Let me check the air pressure thing. Nope. I don't know if I can get back in the seat, though. Although, now here's an interesting thing. I can rerun the material study. That's something at least. Whoop. Oh, my directions are inverted now. No, all my directions are inverted because the probe core is facing a different direction. Can I say control from here? Yeah. Control from here. There we go. So now, excellent. Vroom! Oh my god, Kit, come back! Knight Rider all over again. Whee! Okay, let's recover you. And then Bob's got to walk home. Was the material study you had not from the flagpole? Yeah, it's probably just a dupe again. Oh well, let's not worry about it. If there's anything else more to grab, at some point we'll get a mission to remind us. Come home, Bob. Okay, good. More science. Cycling, storage. Better electricity options. I think we can live without that. Okay. Fuel systems. I think we can get started. So, our missions now is the manned one, right? 18 kilometers manned. There's probably like an unmanned get into orbit as well. Yeah, orbit around Kerbal, which we can do manned or unmanned. So let's do a manned mission. We actually might be able to do the manned mission all the way into frickin' orbit. Could be. Let's see. Let's see if we've got all the bits we need for that. So obviously the command module. And what are we going to do parachute-wise? Because if we're going to do full load of science, we're probably going to want more chutes than this. So I'm actually thinking, like, we just go crazy. We make sure there's no risk of us not having enough parachutes on our landing. And then that gives us enough, you know, extra weight support that we can go and throw in more science experiments in case it's relevant. I mean, we've already done something that's gone into space, so it's possible that all these have run. This is what? That's the Science Junior. Press mat. But just in case... There might be biome-based stuff, too, that's possible. So we'll run that. Oh, I can hear Bella. I think she wants some attention, or she wants to go out, which is possible. I don't know if anyone else is home. Yeah, they are. I don't think we need batteries. We might want to throw a solar panel on there just in case something weird happens. Seems like a good idea. Just in case something weird happens, we're going to have one solar panel. Hey, Spheus, thank you very much for the resub. Alright, let's see if we can launch Jebediah into orbit. So, what we want for that is we're going to want one stage with our very efficient in a vacuum engine. This is going to be responsible for circularizing us into an orbit, as well as deorbiting us, if at all possible. And if at all possible. Wow, that speaks so much confidence. If I do this and throw the swivel engine, because we got to remember, this is a lot heavier than our probe. It takes a lot more juice to get us out there. This has enough thrust to weight. We have enough delta V. We could do it if we had a perfect ascent. I don't have 100% faith that we will perfectly do the ascent. So what I'm going to do over here is we're going to throw in... Now, this is a gimbling engine, so there's going to be some steering still. Our first go is actually going to be with solid rocket boosters. So there's no gimbling from that. So I will have these, which offer some amount of control surfaces. And we're going to have to do some upgrades to a few things, but that's okay. We don't need the big thumpers. Just the hammers is going to be sufficient here. I don't think they're even going to be here long enough that we care about the aerodynamics of it. But we do need to thrust them down to something slightly more reasonable. Yeah, 44 seconds of burn. You know what? I think it actually will be enough. It'll be worthwhile to do that. So now we're at 5,200 delta V. More than enough to reach orbit and return. So stage 1, we're going to fire the SRBs. Stage 2, it's going to be detach the SRBs, light the main engine. Phase 3 is going to be decouple the ascent stage. Stage 2 is going to be light the orbital engine. Stage 1 is decouple all the launch stuff, and then stage 0 is unload all of our parachutes. I think we're going to be good. We have a radio. Now, I don't have any extra batteries, but that's okay. He's not going to be up there long. Now, we can take a look at the life support system. The capsule that he's in comes with 3 days of food, water, and oxygen. He's only got 2 hours of electricity, but he does actually have the ability to generate electricity with a solar panel. So he could stay up there up to 3 days if we need to rescue him in some way. We can save a little bit of cost by eliminating the monopropellant, cost and weight, because we don't need any of that. It's one of the things in Kerbal that's not very realistic. Reaction wheels are a thing in real life, but the ones in Kerbal are kind of magic. So this is going to be the Orbiter Mark 1, codenamed G-Dubs. G-Dubs 1, 2, 3, 4. Part count's too high, so we're going to have to upgrade our station. We're at 34 of 30. How's our weight? Or weight's too high as well. I don't know if we have enough to upgrade both. We definitely have to upgrade the launch pad for more weight. Because there's no way this is going to work otherwise. And does that leave us enough? Not enough to upgrade the VAB. So we're going to have to go and trim 4 parts off of this. If I can know this game, just your start. Yeah, it's all within a solar system. So to remove 4 parts, you know what we're going to do? We're going to remove the nose cones off our boosters. That brings us to exactly 30 of 30 parts, which is currently our limit. And that's fine. So, you know what? Jebediah's been doing plenty. We're going to get Valentina in here. She's going to have the honor of being the first Kerbal to reach space / orbit / hopefully not die. Did we forget anything? We have like excessive shoots, and you know what? I'm very happy with that. And what I'm even going to do is I'm going to deploy them separately, just in case something really weird goes on. It's an overkill on chutes, but I'm not entirely sure what the weight of everything in this capsule is. When we go and upgrade the VAB to the next level, we'll actually have some really good information on our chute situation because of the real chutes mod that we're using. Way too many chutes. I'm okay with that. I mean, it adds weight, but it's paranoia. It's paranoia mostly because of this. It's paranoia mostly because when I send a ship up with the Science Junior, the Science Junior is heavy enough that you come down at about 6.5 meters per second. And it can only handle an impact of 6 meters per second, so I always blow this goddamn thing up. So I don't want that to happen. So I'm overkilling it on the chutes. No such thing as too much overkill. So yeah, let's go ahead.